Everywhere, education systems are leaving young people unprepared to deal with the pace of economic, social, and technological change. The world is defined by the people who live in it, so we believe the solution is to develop responsible and entrepreneurial young leaders today who will choose how the world will be led tomorrow. Unlike anyone else, we do this by providing practical leadership experiences to tens of thousands of young people all over the world. Since 1948, we've created challenging environments where young people can connect to the world, have the confidence to learn, and have the freedom to fail, where they can discover what really matters to them and realize their potential for the future. We give young people a chance to see the world, because if you see it, then you can start to understand it. And if you understand it, then you can start to change it. That's why we've committed to provide life-changing leadership experiences to 1 million young people in the next 3 years. Because when we add all those leadership stories together, we'll see a truly remarkable impact on the world. History has shown us what just one great leader can do. So imagine what 1 million great leaders could do. This is why we do what we do. But it's your world too. So how will you shape it?
I want to welcome you to the space of regional identity creation. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so I want to show you this video. And in the beginning, the key highlight that I want to bring you is that every generation has a chance to shape the world around you, and you are in the next generation of the leaders who are going to create and change define the future of Asia Pacific, as well as in the organization. It's okay, Tony. Yes. Cool. Okay, let's get started. So I'm Isru, if you don't know me. Hi. And so the objective of today's space, we are gonna the session is built in 3 phases. So we're gonna talk about past, we are gonna talk about present, we are gonna talk about future. So we'll have 3 blocks going on, and I'll try to give a break in the middle. But it depends on like how much that we can go through the time, as well as how much the activities are going to look like. At the same time, a little bit of expectation setting from my side. This will be a little part of we talking and most part of you working and presenting and bringing your output. So the whole session will depend on your output, your contribution, and that's what this space is all going to be about. This space is about you. This space is about what kind of region that you want to see at the end of the year in your MC term, and obviously you are the one who's deciding how it's going to look like. Okay, so we start with the past. Of course, like what is the best place to start any journey is looking at like how things has been. Let me open the chat. Okay, wait, give me a second. So I'm trying to see everyone's faces. I'm trying to see what you're talking, so I have a little bit of FOMO. Okay, cool. No. I just want to know like what you're talking about, like then we can make the session more interactive. Cool. So we start from the past, of course, like yeah, understanding history is like very important for us to see understand what are happening today and where we're standing right now. And one thing I want to mention is that when you look back, like sometimes you feel like, oh, why people made that decision, why it was, why they could have done this, they could have done that. Yeah, of course, like I think looking back, it is easy for us to say, but I think I personally believe like people make the decision based on the context and based on the situation that they were in. And of course, like almost all the time people had the best intention for the organization or best intention that you have right now toward your role, toward the region, and toward the organization. So yeah, I think let's quickly go through. I hope to get the chance to go through the information that I put into the chat. So because of that, I can wrap up this part easily. So then I can quickly go through, but I'll still go through this. So just letting you know, the context part that I'm going to go through next is based on this is overall like global context, and last part is mostly about try to be more specific about the region. But at the end, this is from the NS perspective, network strategy perspective. How did you see like involvement of different network strategy department throughout the year? After this space, when I go through, you will get the chance to go with your tribes. You will get the chance to think from your perspective, how's the network look like in each of these years, and you will bring that output to the space. So pay attention, think from this, think about these times, like how these years look like. And if you're a member, if you're TL, if you're LCVP, LCP, in that period of time, it will be much easier for you to reflect on seeing like how the things will look like. Yeah, so starting from 1617, I think 1617 was the magical year of Isaac, like where everyone saw like huge boom in exchange, and you saw almost all the entities like going up like crazy, and of course like next year or not going down like crazy. And so this is where like it's a truth, it's a fact, I'm talking about data, okay. And so what happened in here from the NS perspective, like this is where we had this OST. If you have heard about this, it's called OST was a structure like regional office that we had. It was part-time, like people were working virtually from different locations, same as now, but yeah, it was part-time. And they were supporting like entities, and this was the regional director. I don't think there was this person called regional director. There was a person called network growth hacker in that period of time. I think 1617. It was we had Daniel. In the beginning, we had Moen, and then shifted to Daniel, and then we had like this OST structure with several people supporting entities. So we had this regional business model initiation in that period of time. We had this expansion idea, like we had a lot of expansion even in AP. We had like Fiji, we had, I think Fiji was one of the expansion, and we had like entities, small entities like who we trying to build up, like Afghanistan, Iran, and we had, yeah, these kind of entities. Laos, and so yeah, that's how it looked like. And this was the year like we had the regional merger, where like we had like MENA, VINA, if you remember, CEE, and AP, like all this stuff. Then we combine and we become MIA, and yeah, VINA and CE combine and become Europe, and yeah, LATAM like combine like and become Americas. So this is like how the network model like changed in that year. So moving into 1718, 1718 was the year that regional office got started a little bit more structured. There was the regional director position coming in. I think back then Paula was the regional director for AP. So yeah, this is like all the regional office start to function. We had the regional managers position, full-time roles coming into place. And beginning, regional director was not part of AI. It was part of like different layer, but then later they integrated into AI. We had talent management process creation. If you're part of the membership back then, if you remember, we had clarity of who coming into picture. We were talking about membership. It was like very database, data oriented. We had a lot of content coming in. The TM process, TM standard, like this kind of stuff, we start to being implemented in the network. We had like regional budgets coming in, and in different regions, you're passing the budgets, and we had different allocations for this. So yeah, this is kind of how the network looked like in 1718 term. This is 1718 MC term. So yeah, moving on to 1819. 1819 was, yeah, in the regional office perspective, it got more structured. We had a bigger structure in the regional office. There was 6-7 people, as I remember, in the AP regional office. Eva was the regional director. And so yeah, we had this ED, and a product strategy and ED position coming into the regional office. Yes, and Jesse and Pat, and like we had ED as like Johnny and Jesse, and Eva was also coaching entities. And this was a time that we tried to figure out how the ED and regional managers gonna look like, as well as you entities received more support in terms of planning. This is I think this is the first year we had this planning. No, it was later, but like in the beginning of this year, we had like more planning support, quarter review support coming from regional office to the entities. And so had like entities start to like structure centralized planning and standard planning methods and stuff like that. Yeah, so we had this so yeah, again, like talking from the roadmap perspective, division of roadmap target across the regions. So this is the first time that we had roadmap targets, and like we had regional targets. We were trying to achieve them from the regional office perspective, and this was downscaled to the network, and MCs had their own targets in terms of achieving the, because of the planning standardization. It was easy for us to set goals, and work with the MCs to achieve that. Yes. Okay. So moving to 1920. So 1920, regional structure was same. And then we had Shomei was the regional director back then. And then this is the first time that we had marketing as a role that coming into the regional office, specifically for AP. And then we had we tried to build marketing strategies in the network. Something that we realized is that the network itself doesn't have the lot of capacity in terms of marketing, so that it doesn't make sense to like drive advanced strategies inside the network. So it makes more sense to like build the synergies. That's why we had these leadership programs. Yeah, we try to bring talent and we try to like distribute the talent across the region and things like that. So this was a later half of the year was we had the first virtual conference. APC, we were shifting everything to virtual because of COVID. And then we had the idea of like focusing more on the middle player entities like Vietnam, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and like these kind of entities, like how we focus more and to balance S&D inside the region, because we are facing big S&D issue inside the region. So yeah, this is how the term went. And of course, like then we had a 6 months term, which is 2020. And this was the time that we reduced the regional office structure because of course, like the financial issues that we are facing due to COVID, and network was going through this huge change, and network was going through this uncertain period of time. So we introduced BD into the regional office as a solution to like this financial issue, so that we can regional office can self-sustain through BD rather than like relying on the entity fees. Yeah, that's a long-term plan, but right now we have around 30% contribution to the budget from the BD side from the regional office. Yeah, we had our structure change as well as global structure timeline change for AI as well as for the regional office, as well as the recommendations were given to the MCs to change the timeline for the MC as well. Yeah, then we get the chance to like engage with RO 2021, which is the one that we are working on right now. They were engaging longer period of time. Yeah, we get the chance to transfer a lot of knowledge, and we get the chance to like give practical experience for them before they start. So yeah, I think this is how the couple of years look like. Amazing. So let me check the time, 38. Okay, cool. So what you're going to do next is that we are going to understand the history, and we are going to think from the perspective of how the network evolved in the same period of time. In order for us to do this, so we have a working sheet. Let me explain this to you before you go into the breakout rooms and start working in there. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. So this is the link. I'm going to share this link to you. Okay, cool. So you're going to be working in your tribes. We're going to talk from the person, like right now I shared from my side how from the regional office side or the network strategy side look like. So we're going to talk about from the network side, how it look like. So you have each of you allocated for each year. So we have tribe 1, tribe 2, tribe 3, and tribe 4 in each year. So the questions are, what were the milestones for the network in this year, and what are the challenges and what are the learnings that you face? So I'll give you guys around 10 minutes for you to go through this and come up with your ideas. Like try to get as much as possible. If you remember, it's good. If you don't, like you can ask from people like Prayog, Tony, if you are in the space, maybe you can go to the breakout rooms and support the MCPs as well. Yes, amazing. So what I will do is like, Nitin, can you help me with the breakout rooms? Or do you have any questions before you go to the breakout room?
Yeah, I just want to like get some clarification. So,
Yes.
for example, if tribe 1 is doing for 16, 17, we basically have to look at how our own entities had milestones, challenges, and learnings, right?
Exactly. So this is from the network perspective. You can give your perspective in terms of your entity, but it will be good if you can think from overall perspective how the AP as a network look like. But yeah, it's a combination of your entities, right? So if you combine your insights, then it will represent the region.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Any other question? If not, Nitin, can you open the breakout rooms for 10 minutes?
Yes, sure. I'm doing.
Your turn is back. So let's do small sharing. So maybe one person from each group can do share like what you have. Each of you will have around 2 minutes. It will be good if you can do it shorter than that, but like, yeah, but you have 2 minutes. Who can share from tribe number one?
Yeah, I'll go. So I think in 16, 17, so there was like the structure creations were happening, and it was the highest number of exchanges, as Isuru mentioned, like initially. And GE came into the picture. The roadmap was implemented. AI term, the 16, 17 AI term picked up the ISAC 2020 roadmap. A lot of expansions were created both internally and externally, like inside the entities and also within the network. I think some of the challenges were like there was not a strong legal framework because exchanges were like people were matching very fast, and the subsystem was not very strong to accommodate that. And like sustainability of exchanges was a problem because since we were doing too many exchanges, it was not very sustainable for Isaac also. And we had the membership and talent management alongside with it. So the okay, I don't know what exactly was written there, but all right. So there was like a lot of misalignments with the value delivery because especially with communication as well. So with the OST structure, the communication from AI to RO at that time was very much different from what was being communicated to the network. And I think the learnings were that we focus more on exchange quality to make sure that we had the right kind of structure to give the we had right kind of structure to accommodate the kind of exchanges we were doing, and also to work on the lines of communication, what should have been improved and how does the structure of a regional office has to be improved going ahead to facilitate a much smoother service. So yes, I think that was the output of our discussion.
Nice. Anyone want to add something they might have missed, or like anyone want to share something with this?
One of the highest membership we had in 16, 17, around 70,000 members.
That's true. Yeah. I remember like 16, 17, like there was big summer peak, and like after that there was like huge pile of ECB, ICB cases coming into the pitch, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, and next move to the tribe 2. This is for 17, 18. Who's going to share from tribe 2? Yes, tribe 2. We have a tribe 2, right?
So yes, milestone in our in the network. Basically, we see the same thing, that talent management standardizations and system has been implemented during the year, and also most of us also have something in common. Like for example, Cambodia and Thailand, we have merged our local entities Facebook page into just one national page, and that we implement also a standardization for national projects, and as well as focusing on growth in the operations. Also in Indonesia, member engagement model has been revamped as well. Started to have more partnership with government, and as well as focusing more on external representation. And in Thailand, also focus on LC expansions during the year. And the challenges we're having is that we also have timeline shifting during the time. So that affect also the pipeline and continuity during the time. And also financial flow was in the issue in MC level in Cambodia, as well as the standardized everything has been implemented not very effectively because it was difficult at the first place to introduce something like that into for new LCs and for the entity. Yeah. And our learning is that it's good to have clear transition and checklists, and also to improve the continuity during the MC team and also LC terms, and also to manage the partnership and try to retain them so as we can have the more collaborations in the future. Moreover, synergies also plays a big part in making everything works better, because every function needs to work together to take the strategic direction. Yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Yuki. Yeah, I guess like 17, 18 was This is the time that I remember we had like huge focus for the complete. We had this change for, this is the year of hot dog. I remember, yeah, and like no, this is Abdul's turn, right? So like we are talking more about like complete, and this is after the hot dog, and like you had this, and then the of course the digital marketing centralization. There's pages shutting down, and there's huge chaos happening inside the entities. Okay, let's move to 1819, tribe number 3.
Okay, I will say about 1819. So the milestone is we really focus on growth and exchange and increase the numbers. And we also have like a lot of support system for it. For example, like we have the standardized tool, we have more support from RO when we can customize, when RO can come to the entity and share for the planning or replanning. Yeah, and we have regional manager for GE. And also a lot of direction in terms of like focusing on GE, like separating GE and GT products. And we can have the IR by attending physical conferences for the challenge. So globally, we drop in the number of exchange, and the members really burn out because they do like operation and a lot of things. So they burn out, which leads to the problem of leadership pipeline and retention. Yeah, and the exchange is unsustainable with like high fees and finances, legal issues, GDPR come into place. So we need to adjust our operation in terms of that, and we have the MOC legal issue which affect the like S&D of the region as well. About the learning, so more specialized MC support from our team, so that like the MC team can perform better. And revenue share conference model to host the conference in the region. Yeah, done.
Nice, thank you, V. You want to add something?
I think a lot of focus was that it was completing the roadmap targets, like making progress towards that. We started doing a lot of innovations, pivot and everything. With more, with support was more customized when it comes to from AI and RO side. These are the things.
True. Nice, thank you for that. Then let's move to the last part. This is 1920 and 2020, tribe number 4.
Yep, I can go. So this is the recent context that we have. So in terms of the milestone in our network, we shifted a lot to EVA and also GT, focusing a lot on BT and also B2B as well. And then we have few entities that are focusing on revamping membership experience in terms of the engagement education, which is also the project that we have from AI. And then we doing good in virtual conference management. And then because of shifting the directions to GT a lot as well, so we work on strengthening GTA relevancy, and then network started to pay attention to legality due to GV minimum condition and the change management, and we launched as a 2025, and then we also have EVA and ER principle. And then in terms of the challenges that we face, we are shifting a lot to virtual conference, like virtual touch point. We also see the need and the skill and the strength that we need to virtualize and to move to digitalization for our events and also our engagement with member. And then limited membership experience, because we shift our operations like from the strength that we always have, and then which lead to members motivations affected as well. And then a lot of entity also facing cash flow issue because we stopped doing exchange, and then we are shifting to our new revenue stream. And then MC and LC alignment affected because also virtual touchpoint and virtual communications. And then we do not have a lot of physical network touchpoint, be it in LC, MC, and RO. And then we also, it's a year that we challenge Isaac identity, which related to Isaac way, because all this while we talk about cross-cultural exchanges. Which is also the year that we challenge it as well. And then we also have struggle with external stakeholder and legality. Then in terms of the learning, yeah, we be innovative and also learn how to pivot, and then focus on forming a purposeful and long-term partnership, and how to become more aligned, which is the learning that we have to external context, and also network management is important even though it is virtual. yeah, that's all from us.
Thank you so much, Lami. Yeah, cool. So looking back in the past couple of years, I think we understand like how the network was evolving and what are the different focuses that we had in different years in ISAC, in the region, or in the like your entities. Cool. Let me check the message in here. Cool. Okay, let's move forward. So I hope you got the chance to have a refresh your memory regarding what's happening in the previous years. It will be much easier like if you can reflect on like, yeah, what was the MC direction, what was the what kind of people that who were in the MC team, because that's actually a reflection of the MC direction as well. Yeah, so before moving to the next part, we can take a small break. I'll give 5 minutes. You can stretch your legs, drink some water, get some food. Yeah, be back in 5 minutes. So if you have any roll call suggestions, you can put it here. So. Okay, find my screen. Okay, if you're back, you can turn on your camera and you can type in the chat, you're back. Then I know you're actually back. I'm back. Thank you, Tony, for always being here. Back. Okay, I am not. I'm CMO. Okay, cool. So we have people coming back. Nice. Elva is here. Alice here. Okay, are you guys excited to talk about the present? So we talk about the past. Now we are going to talk about a little bit about the present. Okay. Ooh, cool, nice. So talking about the present, we are going to talk about the perspective of what is the current context of the region and where are we standing right now. So I'll talk for a little bit, like I will have my podcast for like 5-10 minutes, and then after that we'll get a chance to work together again, like in same as before. Okay. Nice. So regional context. So if you're in TLC session, shape the future, where we present the regional plan. We already talked about this a little bit, so I'm gonna go through this a little bit again to remind on what happened. So we this is what we are going through when we actually deciding our regional office plan, and we get a chance to like discover like what's the region look like and what are the strength, weaknesses, and like these SWOT analysis, pestle, and all this stuff like we did for the region. So this is major like a how you say, like it's like a one pager of like most important information. So we think about the from the AP as a region. So we talk about our strength as like we have like EVA products that we are running already. We are like adapt to the virtual training and onboarding. We have increased focus in BD. We have like entities who are pioneering like in EVA, especially with CSR. We have entities with a lot of experience at doing events. So yeah, this is something that we see as a good thing with the current context that was happening around the world. Weaknesses, so we had issues with the data accuracy and data management. So I think still we do in terms of like collecting data from the region. Like we still don't get like a lot of responses from the surveys, and still like I understand sometimes the surveys are a little bit too much as well. So this is like a little bit of mismatch that we are facing right now, as like we don't have good data management systems established inside the region as well as overall organization. Decreasing the interest in the virtual engagement spaces, slow adaptation of skill development process. So we were not fast enough in terms of with the current context of the world, how we change our skills, what are the things that we're training for the membership, and these things also should be changed. Slow change management process, the most of the entities like we are like it's better, but still like we need to go through some space in terms of delivering, managing change inside the network. So common behaviors that we observe in the network are respecting the hierarchy and authority, team leaders struggling with their team management. Like this include like all the LCPs, MCPs, like we saw like there are challenges in terms of team management, performance management, maintaining accountability. These are the challenges that we saw that happening in the region. Competitive culture among the membership and aspiration for recognition. This is something that we observe inside the region as well. Results driven, different sub-regions and social culture. So this is something that we also observe inside the region as well. So talking about a little bit of opportunities, we are like digitalization. I think we are very fast in digitalization, adaptation. The technology available inside the region is like highly advanced. So it's up to us to like use them. Remote working culture, redefinition of team management, slash generation, people who are working, studying, working, and who try to like manage different roles at the same time. It's a very common thing. It's in the youth right now. So you see like a lot of youth that they are not like going to university and that's it. Like they do part-time job, they try to like do freelancing or doing TikTok or being influencing and all these things is like a very common thing to see. Demand for structured volunteering opportunities and threats like COVID-19 aftermath mindset of like hiring international, like people are like getting more inclusive inside the countries and territories, and like how they manage their recruitment, and companies how they become more inclusive and like more law structure. Virtual becoming mainstream, changing buying capacity of the youth and organization, university timeline change, trends were Gen Z buyer behaviors, virtual education system, remote working, digital marketing investment. So looking at all these regional contexts, maybe like this is not everything for sure. Like you will have your own context for that more customized to your region or your entity. Looking in here, like that's where like we decide like how's our role of the regional office going to look like. But before moving for that, like I want to talk to you about like what is actually our mandated role as the regional office right now. So we have like, this is like in the compendium, this is how it's looked like for us in the regional office. So we have our unique role is to make sure that we are supporting for the network operations and facilitate international relations in accordance to supply and demand priorities, regional governance, legal, financial management, customize and adapt the global strategies to the realities in the entities within the region. So these are key priorities as the regional office. So this is what we are mainly working on, basically managing S&D in the region, make sure that the regional governance and legality and financial systems are on place, and as well as global strategy customization to the regional reality. So these are the network services that we are providing to any of the entities, despite of their scale, despite of their operation level. So we provide support network operation and facility in terms of IR management, regional network management, regional governance, legal and financial management, regional financial management, and then we have legal management in terms of the legislations and all this stuff, regional sales and partnership management. This is also something that we work with the entities as well. And customization and adaptation of global strategies is also another section. So we have organization strategy implementation, brand strategy implementation, and customization. So these are the main two parts. Organization strategies are like mostly product strategies, GT or GT, like right now we talk about GT or GTA, GTE, VPP, new LD products, EVA, BD, or like all this stuff comes under here. Brand strategy in terms of marketing, anything comes under here. So this is a mandated role. So right now, looking into like our context and then how it's look like. So these are the things that people are working on right now inside the regional office. So we have Sumi working for the BD. This is regional BD. So in terms of like, her main priority is like generating revenue for the regional office. And this is not the network BD management. Network BD management goes under Sarah. Sarah under B2B or ICX partnerships. So you see like her main responsibility is like regional, bringing revenue to the regional office as well as global structure. So it work with like upscaling with the regional entity partnerships or co-selling with the entities, or like creating a new partnership for the region as well. So the next part, we have the operation department where we have Fatih and Sarah. Fatih is mainly responsible for ICX, B2B, and IGB. And Fatih is responsible, Sarah is responsible for ICX, B2B, and IGB. Fatih is responsible for OGX, marketing, and B2C. So mainly that's, this is how the scope is different in here. So yeah, these are the projects that we are working on right now, and especially we have more focus for GT and GTE, and we have focus for like, that's where like major focus going to look like. And Sarah is the one responsible for the BD network management, supporting the network in terms of that. Moving forward, we have ED department. Inside ED department, we have 3 people, RD and Prayog and Tony. So Prayog's main responsibilities including EWA as well as TM, and Tony's main responsibility including finance and ICOM. So for my side, it's mostly like regarding the network management and providing support for the specific entities. So our main responsibilities are MCP capacity building and MCP education cycle. So this is why like we are the one who's engaging with you directly, and network service delivery and global change management process implementation. So this is how the regional structure look like. Why we are talking about this? So in the present, so we talk about the context, we talk about what is the regional office role in terms of facilitating this context and moving forward as organization. Okay. Cool. So talking about your role, like these are the two questions that I have for you. So this is what we are going to work on next part. What are the main challenges that region is facing right now, according to your understanding, according to your, yesterday we had the context session, Parag and Tony was delivering internal and external context. Maybe you get a chance to see like challenges and opportunities that we are facing at this point right now, and what is the role of the MC or MCPs in these challenges. So these are the two questions that we have. So where are we going to work? If you go to the worksheet, if you go to the working show, so this is the person, and so yeah, we will be working in tribes again. So the part that you have is like you think about like all the context that you going through and think about the regional context that you get to learn, and you have understanding. So come up with two challenges that from your side, what are the main two challenges that you think that you are facing? It can be like mostly from your entity context or like your yeah, so your entity context and like how the from you can come to a common understanding inside your tribe. What do you think the main challenges region is facing, and what do you think the main role of MCPs or the MC should look like in terms of tackling these challenges? Yeah, I'll send you guys a breakout room before sending. Do you guys have any questions? All good. Amazing. All good. Okay, so Nitin, can you help me to open breakout rooms again for? Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have 7 minutes. I think 7 minutes should be okay. Let's get back in 7 minutes.
Nitin, you can pause the recording.
Okay, people are coming back. Some are stuck in a limbo. Okay, it's okay. Cool. It's okay if you didn't finish everything, if you didn't get a chance to note down everything. Let's do a small sharing. Maybe stick to like 1 minute if you can. Tribon, do you want to share what you have and what are things that you were discussing?
Yeah, sure. I can go. So I think one of the first challenges we identified was that we need to, innovate. Innovation is the challenge, and making sure that we have diverse revenue, streams. And yes, Ali, I'm sure it's all similar stuff because we all have, same problems. And I think for challenge number one, the role of the MCP and the MC should be to make sure that any innovation we think of is sustainable, it's manageable, and it's giving us a profit. And then we have to make sure that it's all aligned with the leadership development model of ISEC as well. Like we don't stray away from that, because then there's no point of innovating, because leadership is the main thing. And we should be aware of external trends and make sure that we're aligned with what the market wants. The second challenge we thought of was, if we're innovating and if we're diversifying into new things, we need to manage our membership really, really well, because they're not used to this change, right? So we have to make sure that they're productive, they're effective. We need to have our ICOM in a way that they're engaged, and we need to give the member value in any innovation that we have. When they work for it, they actually learn something and they want to stay in our entity. So yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thank you so much, Ellie. On time. Tribe 2.
Okay, I can go for the chart too. So basically, like two challenges that we face is actually the same. With the first one is financial sustainability, and the second one is very bad second wave COVID in the South Asia, like India, Nepal, and Pakistan. I don't know Pakistan, India and Nepal, like Snehi say. And also for the role of MCP and MC in the financial sustainability is how can we have the partner with like many BD partners and also do the risk diversification and also to focus on alignment with encounters in AP because we can match, so if like our countries having like the same focus, then we can have like the match capacity between all the members in AP. And also the role for the second one in the very bad second wave of COVID-19 in the South Asia is to create plans about the applicable create plans to actually adjusting to the government unclear government policies that we have, also the risk management plan, and also to lead the mindset and the mentality to deal with the uncertainty and be able to change in our entities. Yep, thank you.
Amazing. Cool. Thank you, P, for sharing. And then let's go for tribe number 3.
Okay. So the first challenge that we face is that financial sustainability, like everyone else. I think we think like a role for MC and also MCP is to make sure that this is a top priority for the entity, like keep everyone accountable to that, and then also empower LCs and also MC to diversify the revenue and also using different initiatives to engage partners to really maintain the financial sustainability. Another challenge that we face is maintaining the operational clarity towards exchange. I think this need to implement and experiment with EWA and also other ELD products, but at the same time, we need to maintain our core with leadership and also how to also communicate that to different levels of people within the entity as well. And as well as keeping ISAC brand intact, not only internally, but also externally.
Amazing. Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. And let's go for the last one, which is tribe number 4.
Hi. Okay, so for tribe number 4, very similar again. For the first one, so it's not really the problem of diversifying because clearly AP has been doing a lot of diversifying, but also from the session yesterday, making sure that these different revenue streams are really sustainable for the entity in the long run. So a lot of it is coordination with the different people or members of the MC team. And making sure that we're really trying to understand the financial reality and how we manage the team so that everyone is accountable essentially to building to sustainability. For the second one, so definitely change management for innovation with regards to capacity, culture, relevance for those who still may be a little hesitant also. So a lot of it is driving the change management in those conversations in the MCs, LCs to help setting the timeline and the milestones for everything. And yeah, there's a bunch of things, but I think you guys got it. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you so much, Ali. Yeah, I think like we see like common things that are happening in the region. We see that common things that you're bringing to the table, as well as some of the things are different, especially like with the context of the entities that you are working with. At the same time, yes, so this is something that we want to discuss and close this space with the close this section of the part with talking about the present. And yeah, so I hope you get a chance to like learn about the region. I hope you get a chance about what is all of the regional office, as well as like what are challenges different entities are facing here. Cool. So before moving to the next part, 35, I have a little bit of time. I can give you guys around 3 minutes break. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. One roll call. And then we talk. If you're back, you can put in the chat. Just build back. Sorry. I hope it'll get better. Okay. So yeah, so this is the exciting part. So this is the part that we actually gonna have like a good output, and this is we are gonna actually be creating something for your term. Okay. Before we move forward, talk about the future, we talk about a lot of context. We talk about the history of the regional office as well as history of the entities, how things will look like. And we talk about the current context. We talk about what's happening in the region right now, and what are challenges that we are identifying, and how the role of MC going to look like. So all of this build up is for this. So before we move forward, like there's one more history that I want to talk from my side. Okay, hope you are not seeing great stuff on my screen. If yes, let me know. Yeah, so on Limits Asia Pacific. So this is where it's all connected. And I want to talk a little bit about this, and this is where we want to feel connected to. This is where I want to connect the session as well. So talking about on a Limitless Asia Pacific, where it all began was in the MC 1890. And you can see like a little Shomel, little Pryor, little Louis in here. Yeah, so this is I think in the 1819 term, in the first MCP summit, as you are in right now, which happened in May, we had the conversation about like what we want to represent for the region. And then previously, if you remember, we had the Asia Pacific hot to go as the regional stand. But we are starting the discussion again, like to think about what kind of statement is more relevant for the region right now. So as a result of discussion, we have the statement of on Limitless Asia Pacific coming into place for the region. And what does it mean? Basically, own means ownership. So this is where we talk about like how we take ownership toward our own actions, take ownership toward be accountable to what we are doing, as well as take ownership toward the region and what is happening in the region, and bringing that into our own action. Like, so you see something happening in the region, you see the context is changing, you see there are challenges and opportunities coming up. We as individuals, as MCPs or the entities, we take the ownership in terms of doing something about it, or the regional office. So like everyone is taking the ownership to do something about it, like not waiting for someone to come and tell you, oh, we need to do this or we need to do that. Like that was not the whole point. Like we have this statement representing that we take our own action. We are proactive enough to own the context and do something about it. And because if we don't do it, then no one else is going to do that. And okay, cool. Next one, limitless. Limitless mean breaking through our own limits. I think we had the discussion of there was this discussion going on, like maybe Prayo can add as well, because I was actually not there. And we had the discussion of the because AP was a region that we had a lot of good things in the region. We had a lot of I didn't get the visa, guys. Like it's not my fault. Okay. And so we had the discussion of like how AP has a lot of good things going on, and why we are not talking about it, why we are not bringing it forward, and why we are not doing more for the regional plenary or the global plenary, and why we are limiting ourselves with all the talent and all the diversity that we have in the region. So this is where the limitless is a part coming in. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, the idea was basically like in Asia Pacific, in addition to what Isru mentioned, like in traditional societies, for example, in our families and homes, we put a lot of limits on ourselves. Like we tend to think of us as someone lesser, but then we don't realize our own potential. So more than the external world limiting us, we have a lot of internal inhibitions we put on ourselves, and we want to break through those limits which we set for ourselves, and then become something bigger than ourselves. So that was the idea behind the limitless.
Yes, exactly. So I think it is very common thing to say inside it, because we have this huge, strong culture in most of the entities. Like it's most of family culture. We have this Asian culture that going on, and then based on that, like we individually, like how we are limiting ourselves and how we're going to break through that. So this is a discussion of limitless coming into the picture. How as individuals explore, like break your own limits and do more things, or like get better at your own self. And of course, Asia Pacific is our home, and like this is considering like where everyone, it's not sense like, oh, you're coming from Asia Pacific, but it's in the sense of like how you, like where you gain something for yourself, like where you develop yourself, and then because of that you have the accountability or responsibility to like make it a better place, so that people who come after you and the generation come after you will have a better experience or better learning or become better version of themselves. So yeah, this is where the on Limitless Asia Pacific comes in. And after each year, like this started from 1890, 1920, 2020 as well as 2021, like we are continuing this statement because we all feel connected with this, and we all see that this is relevant for the region at this point right now. And at the same time, we had different interpretation of on Limitless and Asia Pacific. What does it look like? But at the same time, it all resembles the same core idea that we came up with this, used to came up with this statement. Yes, amazing. So it is your time to honor Limitless Asia Pacific. So as MCPs of generation 20 to 21, 22, so we hope this is a discussion that we are going to have right now. So what's your contribution going to look like with all the context that we discussed, and how it's going to look like for in the future? Okay. So in order to move forward in discussion, there's two parts that we want to think about. So we think about on Limitless Asia Pacific, and when you think about it, like the first question is how we're going to measure it. Like how is the contribution, or like your commitment, or like your role for in terms of this statement, or like making the region better place, like how we're going to measure it. And the second discussion is like how we are going to act on it. So these are the two discussions that we're going to have right now. So first part that we're going to start with how we're going to measure it. In order for to do that, I want to take your phone. We are going to move to Slido. I have two questions for you in Slido. Okay, let me find my Chrome. Okay, it's here. Yep. Yeah, you can join a Slido in here. Get your phones. Let me check the chat at the same time. Okay. Okay, let me know if you are ready. And then the first, I'm going to open the first poll. Yes. So my first question is, what comes to your mind when you think about Asia Pacific? You can type here, diversity. Amazing. Home. Innovation, growth, crowded. Diversity, we have a lot of people, culture, cute. Okay. Yeah. Limitless. Growth. What else? Liveliness. Leadership, rising, vibrant. Dual responses, international, brave. Innovation, culture, diversity. AP, awkward people. Bro. Why? Liveliness, brave. Underdog. Okay, cool. No. Sexiness. Okay, cool. I take it if you say so. Future. Yes, amazing. So yeah, we have a lot of keywords coming in from your side. I think the key keywords that you see: growth, youth, home, diversity, innovation, future, family, future. Yeah, amazing. Okay. Yes, I think that's so. I'm opening the next poll. Okay, cool. Before you move forward. Okay, next one. How Asia Pacific will be different by having eyesight? What do you think? Loud. Leadership focused, leadership in youth. Fearless, bigger, brave, recognized, better, confident, youth leadership. Confident. Okay. Leadership in youth. Grow together, stronger, focus oriented, equality. Change, stronger, loud, big shot, leaders for tomorrow. Nice. So I think, yeah, that's the main question that we want to answer. Like, what is the difference that we are making as an organization in the region. So we understand like Asia Pacific, like there's different diversity, culture, like all these things that we talk about, that future. In order for us to utilize this, the uniqueness of the region, or in order for us to like get the best out of it, like what is the difference that we can make as organization in that context. So that is the question that we should be all be looking at, and this is a question that we are going to take forward. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for participating in the fall. Sorry, not the fall, participating in the fall. And okay, I'm going to close this. Okay, cool. So my two questions. So what comes to your mind when you think about Asia Pacific? And the second question was how Asia Pacific will be different by having ISAC. This is the conversation that I want to take forward, and this is where we're going to work on our next part. So my two questions are, how would ONL Limitless Asia Pacific look like for you and the region by end of term 21-22? What should be the top 3 focuses in the region in 21-22? So you, as your MC term, like we talk about challenges, we talk about like our context, where we starting right now, we talk about like what does it mean for you to, what does it mean be part of Asia Pacific? What does it mean to ISAC to be part of Asia Pacific? And the two questions that I'm going to ask from you is that, how would ONL Limitless AP look like for you and the region by end of term 2021, and what should be the top 3 focuses in the region? So where I'll be working, it's the same place. If you go there, you have the part to work on. So two questions are, you can think from your tribe side and you can make a statement, you can come up with a statement, and you can mention your 3 focuses. We are not going to share this. What we're going to do this is that we're going to consolidate this after the session, and we're going to present this in the closing plenary. So we'll have one statement and 3 main focuses that we are working on. But yeah, so I'll give you guys some time to work on this. So we are working from slide 15 to slide 18. Don't go to like 19 and below. That's the next part. So this is the part that I'm gonna hide this for now. Okay, so we are working from 15 to 18. So I'll give you guys some tribe time to work on. Let me check how much time. 52. Yeah, I'll give you guys around 10 minutes for you to go there and come up with your statement and come up with your focuses that you think that should be the region should be focusing on in the next term. Any questions before I before you open the tribe spaces?
So what's the process after this? So you have the statements, and then our RO is going to consolidate.
Yeah, so we're going to consolidate with the tribe leaders. So this is something that because the focuses and the behaviors will be the last consolidation, that I'll be talking to tribe leaders separately in terms of consolidation.
Ah, I see. Okay. Thanks, Soro.
Amazing. Yeah, okay. So let's open the breakout room. Nitin, can you help me with this? And then, thank you. You have 10 minutes. Amazing. I think everyone is back. Let me share my screen again. Okay, cool. So I see some of items are common, some of there are diverse items as well. At the same time, I will need the support from tribe leaders. I will approach you directly, and we'll have a conversation later so that we can consolidate the output and we can present in the closing panel. Amazing. If you have anything to add, like make sure that the tribe leaders are aware of like your conversation, and make sure that they have the idea about like what if you add like individually, or like if you had like if you are dividing your responsibilities to fill this, then make sure that tribe leader is aware of your thinking process, and then we'll be able to like consolidate better. Cool. So yeah, with this we are moving to the last part, which is and the most important part of the session, which is the regional behaviors. So we talk about on Limitless AP, we talk about how it's going to look like. So like we identified, in order for us to know like what's on Limitless AP look like, we need to define how it's going to look like at the end of our year. So that's why we define our focuses, we define what does it mean to us, and then we're going to talk about the next part, which is how we're going to act on it. This is the behavior. So these are things that we can practice daily basis in terms of to showcase that we are actually trying to achieve this ideal state that we want to achieve, as well as we are driving the focuses that we want to drive inside the region. So before moving forward this, I want to give you a little bit of context. The context is that, yeah, so in 1920, these were the regional behaviors that we had. We had speak up, accountable, and courageous. So this was basically coming in from the fact that like we had this conversation going on where APs like we need to be more presentable, we need to be more be present in the global spaces and talk about the vision, we present our ideas and all this. So as well, and that's one thing. And the second thing is like how we can be accountable to our own actions as well as to each other inside the region, and then be courageous enough to take brave actions, as well as at the same time to support each other and go and be out regarding like what we are doing. So this is the three behaviors that we had back then in 1920 MC term. And then moving forward in 2021, regional behaviors was one for all and all for one. This is also coming from the fact that we work, this is the context back then was the COVID situation and everyone was struggling and we need support to everyone. And that's where the collaboration element come in terms of one for all and all for one. And the ownership came back. The ownership is here as one of the regional behavior, where we take ownership toward each other's their own behaviors as well as actions. The last one was agile. This was the time that we required the to be agile in terms of adapt and pivot in terms of the things that we are doing, and with the regional context is changing, and that's why the agility is one of the regional behavior that we have in here. So with this context, because you can see like how the regional behavior came up, it's based on the focuses, it's based on the regional context that we had back then, it based on what we want to achieve as a region and MCP generation. So my question to you again is that MCP generation of 21-22, what are the behaviors that you want to practice, you want to take forward by going through all this context, all this knowledge, and all this understanding that you have, what's going to be your three behaviors look like. So how's the process going to look like? We'll be working in tribes. Then we combine two tribes and we're going to come up with like two proposals, and there will be like individual voting for the behaviors that you're coming up with. So that's how the process is going to look like. So at the end we'll have 6 behaviors finalizing, and for that we'll have votes, and based on that we'll select 3, and then we'll move forward with the final iteration of the regional behaviors. Is everyone clear with this, with the process and how it's going to look like? Amazing. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time. Do you have any questions before I move into tribe spaces again? No questions. Okay, cool. Where you'll be working is in here. So you have your own tribe set, so you can come up with like behaviors, 3 behaviors that you're proposing from your side. But try to put the explanation on like what does it mean, so that we have a better understanding when you read back and what you're trying to express from this behavior. Make sure that this is something that like tangible. It can be something that implementable, like something that you can practice daily basis. The behavior should be something that you can see, you can practice, you can keep yourself accountable to practice that and take into action. So yeah, this is my only expectation for you, and I will give you guys around 10 minutes for you to come up with the behaviors 3 proposal from your side, and then we'll go for the merging of the behaviors. Cool. Nitin, can we open the breakout rooms for 10 minutes? Thank you. Everyone is back.
Back.
Nice. I hope the conversation was interesting and we're able to come up with proposals. Let's do a quick sharing from the group side, and you can share. I'll give you 1 minute. You can share like what are the 3 things that you came up with and why you came up with these things and what does it mean for you about this. So Tribe 1, do you want to go first? What happened?
Where is Banuka? Banuka, my man. You go.
Yeah,
boy,
cool.
no.
Okay, I forgot. Okay, so we come up with three behaviors. The first one is innovativeness. Like we thought, like the core should have to be innovativeness in this term, and with the uncertainty, it has to be. We have to be innovative in every aspect, and more importantly, we have to be brave because since we are working mostly in a remote environment, then we have to be courageous and we have to be brave to be the role models and be the future of Isaac. And then this is another important part. Like we have to be relevant. The things that we are doing, it has to be aligned with the external context. Like if the things that we are doing inside the organization doesn't make sense for the external environment, then there's a problem. So that's why we thought we have to be relevant as well.
Nice. Thank you, Bhanuka, for sharing. Let's go for tribe number 2.
Okay, so for tribe number 2, we have the 3 behaviors as proactive, collaborative, and accountability. Proactive as in, our people are active and accountable to come up with something new. And at this point of time, we really want people to learn fast and be very, active and very proactive without waiting for someone to, push them out. So yeah, being proactive and collaborative, because right now this is something that is very much important for not only to our LCs, but our people to take on at this point of time by being accountable to our actions and promises that we have made.
Amazing. Thank you, Snehi, for sharing. Tribe number 3, what do you have?
Yeah, so the first one we had was bias to action. A lot of people sometimes, well, we found in our entities, people tend to like researching and having stability. We don't have time for that. We just got to go. So fail fast and fail forward and figure it out. The second one was all for one, one for all for one, because we're all in it together. Same situation for all of us. So we have to support each other. And the third was ownership. Ultimately, as much as the situation sucks, the success of your entity is dependent on you. So take charge and figure it out for your entity.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing. Let's go for the last one, which is tribe number 4.
Okay, for tribe 4, we definitely want to be innovative. We got to be creative, agile, always be solution oriented, and always have growth mindset in our mind so that we can grow. And also, like similar to tribe 1 as well, we want to be brave, but most important, we want to be courageous. And so we want to take a risk. And like as Michael told, we are not afraid to fail, but we want to learn from there and also doing the right thing. And lastly, we want to be completely purposeful. We want to have clear intentions as to what impact that we want to have. And also everything we do must be intentional, purposeful. And lastly, we want to take responsibility and hold accountability from what we are planning to do. Yeah, that's all.
Nice. Thank you, Ruby, for sharing. Awesome. So what I did next is like we are going to combine 2 tribes together and you're going to come up with a common proposal, and you can talk about your proposal that you have. Maybe you can agree on something, maybe you can drop something, or you can combine something together and then you can create something new if you want, or like maybe you can agree on one thing and then you can take it forward. So this is the tribe match going to look like tribe 1 and tribe 4, because I saw you have more common things, and tribe 3 and tribe 2 also because you have common things. So I'll give you guys another 7 minutes for you to go back to your tribes like this combination and then come up with like 6 proposals from your side. Okay, Nitin, can you open the tribes breakouts?
Yes, fight, debate.
Nice debate. I think tribe 14 had the most fun doing this.
Yeah, we are really having fun with this.
Okay. Okay, but relevant and purposeful are 2 behaviors, guys. You should pick one. This is not going to work like that.
Type 1 type 4
good.
wanted purposeful. So can we put both of them in and vote on it like separately? Have 7 behaviors instead of 6.
Yeah, can.
Yeah, because we're 3v3 right now. So
yeah, like I think that's better. Both tribe 1 and 4 will be happy.
Okay.
What, Ellie? Choose your fighter. Whoa. relevant or purpose? What if your purpose is to be relevant? Oh!
No.
Micro spitting facts.
Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
Andrew.
Did I do a mistake by combining these groups? Anyway. Uh, cool. Let's see what we have. So tribe 1 and 4. Do you want to explain like what you have? So people has 4 behaviors. Let's see what you have. Can someone quickly explain like what is this 4 things and what is the final explanation about this? Or like when people vote, they know like what they're voting for.
Okay, so I think I can talk about innovation, and then someone else from the tribe can continue with courageous, element, and purposeful. So I think with innovation, the idea is that right now with the situation as it is, we need to make sure that we navigate through this uncertainty by having a lot of innovation in everything that we're doing, by coming up with new ways to do things and redefining what ISEC really is. So that's one thing, and innovation is also requires a lot of creativity. So we need to have a lot of creativity in everything that we do, and we need to always seek for solutions. I think that's also a part of innovation. And yeah, I think that's what innovation is to me, and that's why AP should be innovative. That if we're not doing this, we're not really, surviving ISEC. So yeah, next person can be courageous. Someone from tribe 4.
Yeah, we chose like courageous over brave because just like Ali said, the courage is more from your bottom of your heart, and then you choose to face for whatever you are afraid of or what you are really firmly you want to do. So, and we want to, non-stop trying things out to get our solution and get our result, and also doing the right thing even though it is very hard. Yeah, that's the thing, I think. And then comes to the most fierce debate ever seen, like the relevant and purposeful. Yeah, do we have spokesman for the last 2 words? Maybe Lamin, you want to?
Lermin, you can explain purposeful, and then I'll explain relevant.
Okay, fair
This
enough.
is tradition, guys. Like,
Okay.
you're supposed to always submit together. Okay, go ahead.
You can go first. You can go first.
Okay, chalo, I'll go first. Cool. So the idea behind relevant was we already know that ISEC inside ISEC we need to create leaders, and externally we need to create leaders as well. It's part of the ISEC way as well, and any changes that happen to the ISEC way, I'm sure will have leadership as like an important part of it, because that is always going to be our purpose, one way or another. But the idea is, how are we relevant enough to create those leaders externally in Asia Pacific or in our entities? Either way, we know the purpose already, and yes, it's our responsibility to downscale that purpose. But it's not just about what's inside ISEC, it's about what's outside as well. And specifically when thinking about AP, to create an impact over there and to really have all of these behaviors be a part of it, I think relevance is a major part, because if we're not doing what the world is moving towards, and if we're not keeping up with the trends, purely speaking from an operation and that kind of perspective, because I have been an operational VP all my life as well. So, in terms of that and for any innovation as well, relevance to the customer, relevance to the youth, and relevance to the partners is a very huge deciding factor. So that's what I think, but I think Lermin, you can definitely take the stage.
Okay. So the one from group 4 will be purposeful, the one that we fight for as well. So for purposeful, the explanations will be we have clear intentions, which is also our why, to have clarity of why, to what impact that we want to do, and also to the things that we are doing. And why we think, and also we think that to have purposeful, to have clear why, clear intentions, and a clear purpose in your mind, only we can create the things that is more relevant, and we can do the things that is more relevant. Hence, this is what it's mean by purposeful.
Okay, cool. I hope everyone is clear what they explained regarding these two. Let's go to the next one. Guys, can you please stick to 1 minute? These 3. Can someone explain?
Thanks, Gopi.
Oh, you can go, Michael.
Okay. So basically for bias selection is that we want people to be, okay, nobody has the time to theorize and research. I'm just gonna read it. Our people are active and accountable to come up with something now. They are not afraid to take risks and find a solution without waiting to be told, So it's just trying to be proactive and knowing what to do by themselves. And the second one is one for all for one is basically try to be helpful to one another and be collaborative. And then the second one is ownership, is trying to be accountability of that, accountable to the things that we have now as a member and as a Isaacr. Yeah. So that's basically like all the things in these three behaviors.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Upi. So what you're going to do is we are going to do for individual voting. So you have your picture here. You can take your picture, copy it, and paste it on top of like anything that you feel connected to, you think that should be taken forward. So you can choose three only. If you paste it more, like I'm going to delete it, and like I'm going to put it like where we had the highest one. And so take your picture. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to finish this. Okay, 3 minutes, guys. Make a fast decision. No campaigning in the chat, please. If you're done, you can put in the chat that you're done. Okay, I think most of you are done. Amazing. So what's going to happen next? We are going to take this forward. I'm going to talk to tribe leaders, and then I will talk to you in the chat, and then we arrange the space, then we consolidate this output, and we will be giving the final output in the closing. So yeah, I think we can come back to the space, and we're going to close the space. So finally, I want to add the remark in terms of every generation get the chance to leave their mark. And you see in the previous year predecessors, they have create something, they are leaving something behind for you. And this is your chance to create something for you. And this time you are the main author of the whole new chapter, and you have a one whole year ahead of you. And all these behaviors, all these focuses that we talk about is going to be the main thing that you're going to take forward in the future. So yeah, you may not get the chance to be the one who's choosing the beginning, but definitely you can choose the end that you're going to define for your term. And this will be the journey that you'll be going through in the next 1 year period of time. And we are very excited to work with you. So yeah, last question, how you would own Limitless AP? How would own Limitless AP looks like by the end of the term 21-22? This is the big question that you have toward you. And yeah, let's see how it's going to look like. That's it. And thank you so much, Tony. I'm sorry that you took time. So maybe Tony, you can come in and explain about how's the next step going to look like for us.
Yes, thank you, Isuru. And yeah, as you can see,